Tuesday, September 18th, 2018, in the council chambers at 801 West Highland in the city of Alpine, Texas, for the purpose of considering the attached agenda. This notice is posted pursuant to Texas Open Meeting Act, Section 551.043, Texas Government Code. Public notice: the use of cell phones are prohibited in the city council chambers. Here's the meeting of the city council that's paying a $30 fine. Members of the audience will be protected, will be provided an opportunity to address the council during public meetings and during action items. Please speak into the microphone located at the podium. State your name and address. If you have a petition or other information pertaining to your subject, please present it to the city secretary. State law generally prohibits the council from discussing or taking any action on any issue not included on the agenda. But if appropriate, the council may schedule the topic for future discussion or refer the matter to staff. No personal attacks on council members or city staff will be allowed. The mayor may call a point of order to stop personal attacks. If an individual continues to constantly attack an elected official or staff member in a meeting, they may be barred. Call this meeting to order, and we'll have an invocation by the Reverend Nick Zipper.
Let us pray. Gracious and loving God, we thank you for this time together, for the opportunity to be with the city and work through what God give us in our council system and wise decisions today and the future. We ask this in the name of my Savior Jesus. Amen.
Amen. I have the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Reverend. Okay. City Secretary, we have a quorum.
Mayor, we do have a quorum with an excused absence from Councilor Olivas, and the notice was posted at 1 p.m. on September 14th, 2018.
Thank you very much. We have a couple of recognitions today. Mr. John Kennedy and Zach Austin. Are y'all here? Zach is here.
No, John.
John.
Zach's on hold. He might be out.
Okay. And this young man has been with the city for a short period of time. He's already got one of the certifications. Certification of recognition. This certification is presented to John Kennedy, Water Utility Department, for satisfactorily completing and a remarkable achievement of his Class D water operator license, signed on this 18th day of September 2018, Andres Ramos, Mayor of City of Alpine. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Kessler. Sure. They could like just a visitor. Okay, city manager report. I don't have one. City manager's report.
Mayor, I do not have a report. We do some quarterly reports from some departments. So first up is the Parks Department by Robert Yanez, who is the Parks Foreman. Robert.
Hello, I'm Robert Yanez. This is my quarterly report. In addition to our regular duties, we have painted the Medina Park playgrounds, equipment, and picnic tables. We are trimming trees at Coconut Park. We have patched holes on the walking track and are getting soccer fields ready for the opening season. On and around September 15th, weather permitting, we will have begun or begin painting the manual paint field with assistance from the Saul Ross
volunteer students. And that's all I have for that.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you very
Any
much.
questions? It's great to see you.
You'll be here every quarter, right?
Sir?
You'll be here every quarter now.
Yeah.
Good deal. Thanks.
Mayor, if I
Yes.
may, actually, these guys have done a really tremendous job in keeping up with the baseball programs, the baseball fields, soccer fields. They did some repairs to the fields in the winter time and had them ready for baseball season. And it takes a lot of coordination for what they do to maintain the fields and work with between practice and games and the demand on the fields that the city currently has. And so Saturday was a delayed day, of course, the mayor knows. We had some volunteers through a freshman orientation community service program come out and they painted the outfield of the Manual Lane. So it's really nice and green. It's really
Good.
So I think it's important that you realize this. Even though it's short, they've also been maintaining the landscaping on the city buildings once a month, along with the rest of the street department. And so we have gotten some comments on how much nicer our city buildings are looking lately. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I drive around a lot, and I see those guys out there, and they're always doing something. They're always working. Even if there's not a boss around, they're instead of just sitting around BS and goofing off, they're doing stuff. And I think that's very commendable. It says something for the whole organization that you're running out there. Very positive.
Yeah, and y'all look like busy bees that drive around also. I see those weed eaters and lawnmowers going on like crazy, so the area's really looking good, shaping up. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mayor, next we have the Visitor Center and Tourism Report by Ellen Melvin and Chris Ruscio.
I'm Ellen Melvin, and I'm the tourism coordinator for the city of Alpine. And we have had 2,093 people come through the visitor center during the second quarter, which is up 204 from last year at this time. In April, we had 784 come through, 170 were from out of state, and 52 were from other countries. In May, we had 694 come through, 121 other states, and 31 from out of the foreign countries. And then in June, we had 615 come through, 102 from other states, and 11 from other countries. And I don't have the proper data from last year in April to know for sure how much we are actually above what they were last year, because the chamber did not keep accurate records that month. So we've had quite a few come through already this quarter, and people seem to be liking what they're seeing, so that's the good thing.
I talked to a lot of the tourists in there. They love Alpine. They love coming here, and a lot of them are from out of the country also. Germany being one, Japan was the other one.
We've had this month, we've had them from Holland, Hungary, Poland, the Netherlands, Australia, Germany, France, just from all over this month in September. So it's been a really neat thing to meet them, and they can't believe the vast difference between here and like where they landed in Dallas or whatever. They just can't believe there's the big difference.
Especially the summer with the rain. It was like an emerald out here right now. So yeah, that's good.
And this week they've really been liking the cooler weather, and especially the ones coming from like Austin and Houston, although they said they love it out here because it's not hot humid, it's just a little humid, but it's cool. So they're really liking that part.
Good deal. Please.
Ellen, are there peak days? You know, I know you're not open Sunday, and part of that driven by budgets and everything else, but what are your peak days for business?
Peak days are usually Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning. Saturday from 1 to 2, from 12 to 2, we don't really have a whole lot come in unless they're just getting into town for a sporting event or something going on that evening.
Okay. Because I notice other visitors sitting around, whether it's Martha or anywhere else, they're open 7 days a week. And I'm just trying to get some sense, and I get feedback a lot. Gee, the visitor center is not open on Sunday. So I'm just trying to, you're making some valuations about what makes best sense. What I heard is it kind of drops off Saturday afternoon.
Right. Now, you know, and then there are people who come in Sunday to get away from the crowds of the weekends too. So, I mean, that's just, it's all up to what y'all want us to do. We're going to do what you want us to do, whichever way it is. So.
Is there any particular thing they're looking for when they come out here?
The main things they ask for is what is there to do and where do we eat? So we have a pamphlet that we made up that's things to see and do. Along with our walking tour, we pass out the historic walking tour to everybody. And then we have a restaurant guide that tells what times they're open. And, you know, the main thing that they really complain about is that the ones that are closing at 2 o'clock and not opening again until 5, or some of them, they don't even open until Wednesday. So that's the one complaint we get.
I think that's the biggest complaint that I hear is that there aren't any eateries that are open on Sundays, you know, throughout the day.
Right.
I think we'll have maybe 2 that stay open.
And a lot of them close at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, and then they're not open. And, you know, there's nothing else open but the fast food stuff. And that is, we get that too.
You know, we talked about that briefly, the Alpine Downtown Association.
That's just going to come.
And that's an area we're going to go push this and say, we've lost opportunities.
And we've had people in there just yesterday and today that were really bummed that they came in trying to beat the rush, and a lot of the businesses were closed too. A lot of the shops and things like that are closed on Monday and Tuesday. So
There's a business association. Pick it up. Thank you very much, man.
Hello.
Oh.
My name is Chris Ruggia. I'm your Director of Tourism. I have a few pictures for you for some of these ads we keep talking about. But first off, the report that's in your packet, I've been refining the format of it. The biggest change at the moment is the biggest change in this report at the moment is that I changed the cost for the print advertisement. What I had done in the past, your cost per 1,000 copies of each magazine and cost per 1,000 readers. I've now broken them out so you're seeing what it would cost for a full page in each magazine, so you're seeing apples to apples comparisons. This first slide is one of the full page ads that we run, which we do when we can afford it, and that's mainly in Austin Monthly, San Antonio Magazine, Texas Music, and Authentic Texas Magazine. And so what you're seeing here is I take 2/3 of the page as a display ad, which calls out some of our upcoming events, and that single column is an advertorial that would be relevant to the time period that that issue is coming out. And I've told you about this before, but for me as a reader flipping through a magazine, that stops me way more than a full page photo would, because people are in the magazine to read stuff, so that really helps. We are doing several co-op ads, and so this next slide is a Texas Highways full page that we do with 6 other partners. It's Odessa, Midland, Fort Stockton, Marfa, Fort Davis, and the Big Bend Chamber, which I think are dropping out this next year. So we'll see how many partners we have for next year. But this is a real cost-effective way for us to have a presence in Texas Highways, because their page rate is quite high. I mean, it's a good buy for the number of people who read it, but it's a big chunk out of our budget. So that is very helpful to us. This is another co-op that we do with Marfa and Brewster County. This one is in Ride Texas magazine, a motorcycle focused magazine. And in this one, so we tried to come up with a branding that would be effective for all three partners. And we have an advertorial that gives 3 different rides that take the interested parties through Alpine, through the park, through Marfa. One other thing about Ride Texas is the latest issue of Ride Texas. There's they did a focus, a cover. It's a cover mention. We didn't get a cover photo, but it's highlighted on their cover, and there's a 6-page feature on a ride that starts and ends in Alpine, and they got us some good coverage there at no cost. On our social media side, this is an Instagram contest that we did through Austin Monthly. That this particular post, we've done 4 through the year, and each subsequent one has gotten more engagement, more likes, more entries into the contest. What they have to do is they have to follow us on Instagram and leave a comment on the Austin Monthly post, and then the Austin Monthly folks pick a name and they win 2 nights at a hotel here in Alpine. And this one, they said, is actually their highest engagement since they've had that Instagram. I don't quite understand it, but the audience for Austin Monthly is really receptive to Alpine. And then this is, we did 4 articles, sponsored articles on TexasMonthly.com in this last month. For the number of readers that we get, and you'll see in your report, I have a count, the dollars per 1,000 readers, which is very high. But one thing about that I really like about this approach is that this article is at that URL for as long as this website will exist. And so already, if you type photography Alpine, birding Alpine, this page comes up first in Google. And so we had search engine benefit because that sticks around forever. And the relatively small number of people who came to this page, they also gave us time on page information with their report. And so our average visitor to visit AlpineTX.com spends a minute and a half, something like that, on the site. They get the information they're looking for and they leave. This particular article, 7 minutes. So the folks who got to this page absolutely read the content. This was the highest performing. We had another 4 of these. One was on downtown Alpine, one was on dark skies, and one was on day trips with Alpine as the starting point. And this one had by far the longest. I think it got the most readers and the longest time on site. And that is all the pictures I have for you. I wanted to give you a glimpse of something to look at since I just talk at you otherwise. If you compare the costs, various costs on the publications, what we're looking at is the number that is most reliable is the circulation numbers, the actual numbers of magazines that they print. And so we've broken out what a full page would cost per 1,000 copies of the issue. And then every magazine, they wave a wand over their circulation numbers and they tell you how many readers they have. I don't know how they do this, but and so you'll see on Southwest Airlines magazine, 447,000 copies, 5.5 million readers. That one is the most believable because it's behind the seats, and so many people will read a single issue. But most of the others, there's a factor that they multiply by. But you'll see that our average cost per 1,000 for these magazines is around $40. When you go to the digital ads and you look at Facebook, you'll see that our cost per 1,000 impressions is $3.55 as opposed to 40. So that I've been very happy with the numbers we've been able to get, and I've been refining what we're doing with Facebook advertising, with their targeting, trying to make sure that I focus on the interests relevant to the event or what have you that we're running the ads on. That's working really well, and we'll be beefing that up for next year. And the other piece that we'll absolutely be starting is what they call remarketing and digital networks, where it tracks people that have come to our website. The vendors will give us more granular demographic information that we can get just through Google Analytics and advise us on good websites to advertise on, and try and remind the people who are already kind of aware of this that we're still here, things like that. And we will see what kind of performance for dollars numbers we get as next year moves along. Last time I was here, you guys asked for some demographic information. And so, on the 4th page, I have Facebook has an analytics system as well as Google Analytics for our website. And so I've listed gender, age, and the basic information that they gave. And so our Facebook visitors are 57% female, 42% male. On our website, it's 52% female and 48% male. The age range, it skews middle-aged and older. The website more so. The website has the graph kind of moving up towards 65. Each subsequent older group has a higher percentage. No, I'm sorry, that's on Facebook. On the website, we have our top is 55 to 64. It's still an older age group that are coming to see us online. And it does make sense that Facebook is older than the web traffic. I believe that their demographic does skew older. The places, the education level we get through Facebook's analytics, we don't get that through Google because Facebook has a lot more personal information on all of us. 63% of our Facebook followers have a college education, 23% a high school education, and 11% graduate school. The top cities that visit us on each are also a little different. In Facebook, our top city is Austin, second is San Antonio, third is Fort Worth, fourth is Houston, and fifth is Midland. Facebook also gives us like an affinity score. It's like compared to all of Facebook, which cities are overrepresented in liking us. And Midland and Odessa were top on that, which is understandable because of our proximity. Lubbock was next, followed by Austin and El Paso, which is something of a surprise, actually, because we don't really perceive getting a lot of traffic from El Paso. On the website, top city is Dallas, the second is Austin, the third is Houston, the fourth is Alpine, and the fifth is San Antonio. I also looked at time on the website and sorted our visitation by how much engagement we were getting by cities. And Washington, D.C. was actually top in the time period that I looked, very surprisingly. There might have been somebody who fell asleep in front of a computer or something. I don't know. Then we have Fort Worth, San Antonio, Midland, and again Lubbock. And I started including Lubbock more in our Facebook targeting accordingly from getting these statistics. In terms of general activities, we had our first quarterly meeting of the hoteliers. We had the attorney from the Texas Hotel Lodging Association come and visit with them. It was a really good meeting. The hoteliers were very appreciative of the meeting, and they seemed enthusiastic about continuing to meet regularly and build up that relationship. So that was very successful. We next are planning an orientation meeting for all of the events that received hotel occupancy tax funding at your last meeting, and explain to them what the new procedures are going to be. Following that, our plan is to have our next quarterly hotelier meetings be joint and invite all the events to that meeting as well, because a big part of what we're asking for events to do when they come asking you guys for tax funds is to show results from the hotels. So we're hoping to bridge any communication gaps there and get good working relationships from the people who are using the hot tax and the hotels themselves. So that's coming up. We're very pleased with that. And the last thing I would mention is that our Alpine TX photo contest is going to close to entries on September 30th. It's looking really good so far. We always get a bunch right at the end, but we already have about almost 200 photos, and over 200 already entered. And so I'm expecting this to be a big year. And so if anyone doesn't know, if you go to visit AlpineTX.com, You'll see a link at the top of the page for the photo contest. There's a top cash prize of $500. The judge this year, we have a different judge every year. This year, the judge is Jennifer Boomer, photographer she's spent a lot of time in Alpine and now splits her time between Marfa and Dallas. And that is everything I have to tell you right now. If you have any questions at all. Yes, sir.
I'm glad you're doing this new hot tub rent policy meeting. Today I was asked about it, and an individual asked me about it. Says we're a little confused on it.
Yeah.
So I can go back and let them know.
And absolutely, anybody who asks you, send them to me. Because if I don't have the answer, I'll give it Jessica and Megan, and we'll get the word to them.
Okay. Great job.
Thank you.
When is the meeting for the hot fund recipients? You said a date?
26th and 27th.
So we're going to do two.
We're going to do
And that's when?
That's September 26th and 27th.
Next week.
Next week.
Yes, yes. I'm right, did I get that right? Yes.
Yeah.
I think we're doing one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Okay, the 26th is in the morning, the 27th is in the afternoon.
Yeah, and we'll be getting the award letters out very, very soon. Good. Thank you very much.
Here next we have the August monthly revenue and expense report by Megan, the Director of Finance.
Hello. So for start off with the general fund, for the month of August, the general fund totaled 92% or $4,214,400 in revenues. And we had expenditures at $3,405,665 or 75% of our budget. During the month of August, we did receive June sales tax for $138,099, which is a slight decrease from last year at this time of 2.4%. We also completed 24 out of the 26 payrolls. For the hotel motel, we did decrease by 34% over this time last year in the hot funding. And I'll get to the exact details.
But that's just for the month.
Yes.
Because you were way over July.
Yes. July, we do collect quarterlies. So hotels can pay monthly or quarterly, depending on how much they collect in taxes. We do follow the state guidelines. For the water, solid waste, and sanitation, total revenues for the year is $4,099,791 or 94%. Expenditures is at $3,581,857 or 82%. For the airport, just a side note, this does include what is encumbered. So things that haven't been paid out are still a liability to the city, so we do encumber them, so they're reported in here. So if something happens and that purchase is to be voided, canceled, it could change the outcome of the expenditures. So far, we've paid for everything. The airport, little concern here, the airport has brought in $800,638 for the year. That doesn't include a transfer of $300,000 for the big airport project. Their total expenditures is $860,962, so they're about 11% over budget. That has to do with our fuel cost. We have purchased a lot more fuel this year. We do sell all our fuel, but public and the council need to be aware that we do have fuel on hand. So we do keep an inventory. So we may spend $20,000 in 1 month on fuel, but we do have that income sitting there in the tanks out of the airport. We do have the RAP grant that we'll be doing the reimbursement soon. We're looking at roughly $11,000 coming back from that. The RAP grant pays for partial maintenance of the airport. They have a very specific list of what it will and will not cover. So we try to utilize everything, including the Roundup we use to kill the weeds. So we try to squeeze every penny, dime, nickel we can out of it. So that one will be monitored closely the next couple of weeks, just in case we have to come back to council in October to adjust or amend that budget, so that we fall within the guidelines. For the hotel, Currently, last month's report allowed us to have a bunch of people submit invoices, so it was awesome. We did bring in for the year $650,279 at 93%. We also expended for the year $438,065, which is 63%. Some of the bigger ones that I had mentioned last time from the Museum of the Big Bend, Beaver Big Bend, have all submitted theirs. So we're right on track, even though I was nervous. The gas department for the year has brought in $1,609,097 and 93% for the fiscal year, and their total expenditures has been $1,474,971 or 85%. So they are right on track. We did make our final payment for this fiscal year for our debt service for INS. The payment was $122,763. That covered 4 different bond COs felt. For the year, we brought in $618,243, which is 100% of what we budgeted, and we have spent 100% of what we expected. So those are the highlights for August. For September, we have, I'm just kind of give you a fill-in so that you're prepared. We have sent out notifications to all of the departments asking them to get in all of their purchases, not to make any hefty expenses. Don't go out and buy all new inventory at the end. The last week to be emergency purchases only, so that we can end the year on a good note, have everything encumbered, not have any, oh my God, at the end of the year, beginning of next year. So we have worked on that. We've cleared up all of our expenditures that have been pending. So a lot of our encumbrances have changed. We've worked with all the department heads who've had outstanding invoices, purchase orders, missing documentation to come forward and bring that information or give us contact so that we can call those vendors and beg them to pay them. Never thought I'd do that, but we do here at the city. So we're looking good. The airport, of course, after I get in some of the grant information stuff, hopefully we'll be back on track. So it looks like we'll end a clean year. I can't give you the exact where our fund balance would be at this point. I really wanted to have some more of that information, but I really wanted department heads to step forward first so that I didn't overestimate or underestimate. So they had the firm or the belief in the past that, you know, if you don't spend it, you lose it. So it never failed at the end of any fiscal year. Everyone was out there trying to spend all their money, which makes the budget and finance side really hard. You never know what you're going to get from day to day. So we've done really well over the past several years getting that cleaned up and getting everything processed. So everything is really So there's another section. I'm just going to go right into the next one. So on the quarterly reports for the investment. So these are the investment accounts in which the city has invested interest. They are all considered on-demand accounts, which means they will always have the same market value. What we put in plus our interest is what we take out. At any point, if an emergency was to happen and it qualified where we had these reserves, we could pull it out that day. Well, technically, they deposit it the next day. So there's no waiting like a CD where you have 3 months, a maturity date. They're on demand, so we can pull instantly. If you notice, our smallest one is Techstar. That was here when I first started with the city. It has never changed. We only grow interest. It also has the lowest interest rate available at this time. The others have all been created over the past 4 years. You have Texas Class Capital Improvements. This was for road repairs. This is the fund that the council had approved to move the $450,000 into. Airport Reserve, Hot Reserve, the Creek Project, the Fire Department, and the Water Sewer Infrastructure. So the first quarter, it shows the starting rate of where we're at on October 1st and the ending rate for December 31st, 2017. The interest is variable. It does fluctuate from day to day. So I provide you with the interest rate as of December 31st to give you an idea what we were collecting for these accounts. As you can tell, Techstar is slightly below Texas Class. Their interest was 1.1762 and Texas Class is 1.41. And then I provide you with the information on the interest earned for that quarter. So that is 3 months worth of interest. the book value and the market value, because these are on-demand accounts, they're not gonna, what goes in is what comes out. And the change amount. There are no change amounts. I didn't include the change being interest. As it's reported as interest, I didn't want to every month you'd be, or every quarter saying, well, of course it's going up because that's the interest. It's not a significant change. And then the fund distribution, how the money is broken down to which categories. The Techstar is all funds. It's not specific to any one account. The road repair or the capital improvements is specific to road improvements. Airport tourism, general fund for the creek improvements, general fund for the fire systems, and then water sewer infrastructure. So for the first quarter of this fiscal year, the city earned $4,447.32 in interest. The second quarter, the layout is still the same. The interest did significantly increase. The interest for the Techstar was 1.4995. Texas class was 1.750. If you guys pay attention to any of the interest, your own personal savings accounts, this is significantly high. I would love to have my savings account at higher than 1%. So we are earning a little bit of money considering probably 11 years ago when everything dropped. So, total interest earned was $5,412.91. The third quarter, the same format, interest rates definitely increased. Techstar is 1.830% and Texas class is 2.160. So that is a nice little jump. Texas class does offer one of the higher interest rates compared to some of the other ones available. So good investment at this time. Total interest for the month or for the quarter, $6,886.05. For the first 3 quarters of this fiscal year, we have brought in $16,746.28 in interest. So I thought that was significant enough to point out that we are slowly but surely building up reserves, dedicating them to projects that are needed, and the city is moving forward. The fourth quarter, you'll see a pretty much a change. So that change amount will start to reflect. Council approved some dedication of water sewer infrastructure. So you'll see that on the next quarterly report, the breakdown of how that money has been allocated to specific projects that were approved by council. So there will be some change. Also with the airport, their total amount will drop significantly because that money was moved for their big project. So most of our activity was in June, July of this year. So that's our last quarter.
Megan, and you may have said it, I may have missed it. Can you, just for the sake of the public, give them what the total market value is of all of our reserve funds?
Yes. For the third quarter, apologize. At the end of June, on June 30th, 2018, we had $1,348,320.08 in reserves. When I started, the city had $564.
Can you tell them how much of that is general fund reserve?
13 for general fund.
No, you don't. You're including the special projects.
Well, I'd have to take out water, airport, tourism.
Okay, so how much is on the Techstar line?
Okay, I'll do each one for y'all.
No. How much is the Techstar line?
Okay, Techstar is $587.63.
That's our general fund.
That's not dedicated to a specific project. Yes.
So when we talk about reserves, that's the account we have to build up. Right. So moving into the next fiscal year with the financial policy that council adopted, you want to kind of talk them through how this will change?
So, so for next year, we have targets. So council approved a financial policy that allows us to target reserves. We're targeting 25% of our general fund revenue into reserves. It's a target amount. We know that from year to year that we may not be able to meet that. Maybe we need a little less, maybe we need a little more, but it starts our ability to actually set aside money. We actually are targeting a contingency as well that allows us to put money aside for emergency projects that come up. It's not just the general fund, although that is the smaller of all the accounts. Our financial policy allows us to target every department fund to build up reserves so that we have something to use if we go out for bonds, so that we have something if an emergency comes up. We're not, pulling money from one to help another. The money is there to move forward with projects. Vast improvements. Actual numbers to work with.
Better than 10 years ago. Good deal.
Any questions?
Just an excellent job.
Great job.
Just like numbers.
Okay, let's go on to public hearings. And public hearing to obtain a citizen view and comments of ordinance number 2018-0902, amending ordinance 2017-0503 to repeal the designated two right turn only at the east and west intersections of Soros and North Fifth. Comments? Seeing none? Okay, let's move over to B. We have a question back there? Yes, sir.
Public hearing?
No.
Okay.
No, it just came up in that section. Okay, and then we'll go any more. We'll go over to B. Public hearing to obtain citizens' view and comments of ordinance number 2018-0903, repealing ordinance 2016-0401, establishing no parking zones as follows. No parking for the first 25 feet south of the railroad tracks on the east side of South Fifth Street. 2, no parking with the exception of a 20-minute loading zone for the remainder of the area fronting Fifth Cove on the east side of South Fifth Street. 3, no parking on the west side of South Fifth Street from the intersection of Fifth and Murphy south to the alley.
Our agendas don't have that.
What's that?
We don't have that.
You don't have that.
Public hearings.
Public hearing, not.
No.
Not this.
Is there a mistake on the? Okay. What sections do we not
There's
have?
no public hearings because the attorney did not finish the ordinances.
Okay, so which ones do we not have that shouldn't go on here?
None.
None. Okay, so we're skipping all the public hearings. Okay. Go to the consent agenda then. That was our mistake on that. Thank you for pointing it out.
Well, now I understand your question.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go to the consent agenda.
No wonder that didn't make sense when you
Yeah,
were when you were on, like, okay, no, you can say that. Consent agenda, item A is approval of minutes from the city council meeting on September 4th, 2018. Approval of the minutes from the special city council meeting on September 10th, 2018. Approved Quentin Sledge to be an alternate on the Building and Standards Commission. And approved Margaret Moore to the airport board for Ward 3.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Mayor, I move we approve the consent agenda.
Okay, there's a motion's been made. Second, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Information or discussion items. Quarter report, Chamber of Commerce by Aaron Rodriguez.
Mayor, Council, my name is Aaron Rodriguez. I'm one of the co-presidents with the Chamber of Commerce, and it's kind of small, sorry. I've got a couple of slides. I mean, mainly I'm just going to talk, but I want to, like Chris, I wanted you to be able to see something. So, on all of my PowerPoints, I like to start off with a quote. It's just something simple, but people often say motivation doesn't last, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. That's by Zig Ziglar. And it's true with the chamber. I mean, we've done a lot of motivating. We're all volunteers now. We're a volunteer board, and there's a fluctuation, but we have 11 members, and we've done a lot of motivating over the last, I would say, since the beginning of the year. So we've changed the way we've done things. We're finding our place in Alpine, so that's kind of where we're at with that. Some of the things we've done this year, we have currently a customer service awareness campaign going on, which you'll see a little bit more on that in another slide. We're doing monthly videos for mixers. So basically, we create about a 2-minute video when a business or an organization wins a drawing at one of our mixers, and they just get a little video spot on our website, Facebook, a couple other places. We're holding 2 mixers a month. One is the second Tuesday of the month, and the second one's the 4th Thursday. So those are the 2 mixers we're hosting. Our next mixer is actually next Thursday at the radio station. So it'll be at there at KLP-KVLF, Alpine Radio, and they're going to have refreshments. We'll have the chamber members as well as a lot of the ambassadors also attend the events, and businesses from around the area. We're working on a membership drive right now to kind of collect dues, but also let everyone know what our new goals are, what our new themes are. Working on a technology initiative, so we've actually revamped the website. We're doing a couple other things, technology based, because of the fact that we're all volunteer and we don't necessarily sit in office all the time. We have good coordination with the Alpine Downtown Association, the Alpine Ambassadors, and the Small Business Development Center. We do a lot of things with the Small Business Development Center in regards to training that they put on, lunch and learns. We do one lunch and learn, or what they call a brown bag lunch series per month. This one, tomorrow, we're actually, I'm speaking again tomorrow during lunch on what the chamber provides. We'll be at the Holland Hotel in the back room, and the Holland Hotel is going to be providing some, samplers of their food and things of that nature. So we do that once a month as well, and that's pretty much what we're working on. So our kind of cut off, our customer service award winner for July was Laura Vasquez. Basically what we do is every member of the board gives out 1 coupon per month to an individual in town at businesses that they feel provided exemplary customer service. And at the end of the month at the meeting, they're actually given a $100 check. So it's an incentive to provide good customer service. We also, recognize when we go to send this out, to different places, the business is on there. So the business gets a little snapshot too. So in this case, Dollar General's getting their name out there as well, and that they're providing good customer service to their customers. So this last month's winner, which we didn't have a picture, was Misela Macias from La Casita, sorry, yes. Misela Macias from La Casita. So she was our August award winner, and so she won $100 as well. So she was presented with a check a couple of weeks ago. So this is kind of our website revamp. It's a little easier to maintain. We're not paying monthly service fee for it the way we were with our old system. With Chamber Master, we were paying approximately $150 a month. We've been able to turn that into about $150 a year with this. It's called Chamber Dashboard. So it's a different website. It's pretty intuitive, but it's also a lot less expensive for us. So some of the ideas that we're working on is education. So I've been working with the individual from the Texas Workforce Commission in El Paso on, he's going to try and get a large grant to come and provide education to businesses. And we talked about, when we talk about education, we talk about the basics, showing up for work on time, providing customer service. How do you talk to a customer? How do you present yourself? Presentation is another one. So we've talked about kind of an individual aspect. So actually going around to the businesses instead of them, saying, hey, we have a training over here, send all your people, because we understand that a lot of businesses have maybe 2 or 3 employees and they just can't send their employee. I mean, it's just impossible. So we're looking at actually, and he's looking at providing the grant, being able to send someone out here, and then us as a chamber and that downtown association actually taking hold of the money and the individual and going around with him and saying, hey, let's visit this today. Let's go here. Let's kind of move this forward, because I think overall that's the impression that we get from a lot of people is we have good food, we have good places to stay, but sometimes the customer service area is where we lack. And I think it's just education. I don't think it's them doing it on purpose or anything like that. So another thing is motivation, motivating the businesses to stay open later, to open on Sundays, to be open during the week. That's a big one that we've hit on. And it's a matter of just, keep explaining to them why they need to do it over and over, because a lot of them, I mean, it's hard for them. They have limited employees and a limited budget. So the more we can help them to reach their goals, the more they're going to be able to stay open, and that we're going to profit from it as a community, from the tourism and that thing. So increasing the morale citywide, that's kind of on the same boat, which is just the morale of businesses. We lose businesses a lot here, and it's not necessarily because it's not a good business or there's not a good model, but it's because we don't rally around that business as a community in general. So we lost a bakery here that opened about 6 months ago. Unfortunately, it's not good. I mean, they invested a lot of money, and it's hard for everyone overall, to make a living and to keep things open. So we want to rally around them as much as we can so that they will stay here. Because it's good to have. The more businesses we have, the more we provide to our community and the more we provide to tourists. And as a chamber, doing our part. Our part is being there for these businesses, providing what we can when they need it, providing resources, networking. One of the big things we're hitting on right now is networking. We have a lot of businesses that'll come in and they'll say, well, where do I get signs from? Where do I get this from? And we have individuals that do it, they just don't know they're here. So it's kind of just putting them together, saying, hey, here's so-and-so, this is what they do good. Here's so-and-so, here's what they do good. So that's kind of where we're at with that. So to finish with another Zig Ziglar quote, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. That's kind of where we started with the chamber, was, we were in a different position this year at the beginning of the year. We have a lot of new people on the board. And so it wasn't, we weren't great when we started out the year, but slowly over time we come together and we have a nice plan going forward and what our part is for the community, and that's to grow commerce in the businesses. Any questions? So we do. We actually, Trans-Pecos Bank has provided an office in the back where the dance studio is, kind of. Now the problem with that is most everyone has a day job, so we don't staff it. We answer calls through voicemail. We have an individual actually take calls the whole week. They listen to voicemails every day and they return phone calls and that kind of stuff. So we have an office, we don't staff it. Now from time to time we do go in there to run. I'll take the mail in there. We'll run checks out of there, that kind of stuff. But we are looking to the future. We've had some offers for spots in the middle of town that will give us a way to get back into town, just so that business can visit us, that we can do that, and trying to get an employee in the future just to do more of the admin stuff. That's where we lack. I mean, we can't do the day-to-day because we don't do it every day. And that's the issue that we're running into. But besides that, I mean, overall, as a chamber, we have a bank account that has good money. We're not suffering. We're going to put on the chamber banquet again planning stages have already started for that. We're starting things a lot earlier this year. So we're working on Christmas right now with the ADA and the SBDC and Sol Ross. So I mean, Christmas this year in Alpine is going to be a big event. It's going to include, you know, the Christmas tree lighting up at Sol Ross. It's going to include the parade. It's going to include Mountain Country Christmas in the Civic Center. So it's going to include, kind of encompass everything this year, which is a little different than it has been in the past. So we're trying to continue working and helping the businesses out as much.
So you know, nice job and compliments to you and the chamber. When you talk about businesses not being open on Sunday, what tends to be the driver? Is it lack of employees to be able to support the business, or is it, you know, motivation on the part of the business owner to say, I've only got so many hours in my life, and so I shut down on Sunday?
It's a mixture of both. I mean, so a prime example is what we'll take, and I've talked to him on occasion, but Magoo's, who just started opening for dinner, one of his drivers for not opening for dinner in the past has always been, how can I staff it? I got to find a whole nother set of employees to be there in the evening. So that is one, is just finding the employees. We talk to businesses a lot, and that's where kind of the workforce, you know, has come in, and they've said, well, what are we missing? And it's the fact that, you know, we have students that don't necessarily feel fulfilled working in some of the jobs that are around here. So we have plenty of jobs to go around. And I think one of the other key things that's going to happen here is just kind of starting this internship is going to drive more students to want to work, to want to be out there, get that experience, and go out into the real world. So we do see that. We see employees, and we see also the ones that just don't want to be open because that's their day. That's their day to you know, relax, unwind, and do their own thing. So it's a good mixture of the two. You also see that they think they don't have the business on Sundays, because if the tourists aren't here, then the town necessarily doesn't go out on Sundays, because that's been a thing for a long time, is these stores just weren't open on Sundays. So they stay home with the family, they cook, they do their thing. So it's going to be an education thing with the entire community. It's going to be an education thing with the tourists to say, hey, we are open on Sundays. This town does, you know, it's not sleeping on Sundays. So
It's good. Thanks.
You to compliment you and the staff at the chamber for moving forward. And
thank you.
You all are going in a positive direction now, which is fantastic. We do need a chamber of commerce in the city.
Yes, sir.
And you guys are kind of also where we're working to go with a lot of, you know, businesses and stuff like that. So I applaud you guys for that.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Report. Next, we have the quarter report and West Texas Ambulance. Mike Scudder.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council member. I have the quarterly report. This is for April 1st, 2018 through June 30th. The total number of city, county, and maritime runs, we had 143 calls. This is down a little bit from the first quarter where we had 157 calls. The total number of city calls were 84. Total number of no transports within the city were 23. Total number of county calls outside city limits were 23. Total number of county outside city limit no transports were 13. For April, we had a total of 46 runs, 28 were city, 8 no transport city, 4 county, 6 county no transport. For May, we had 56 total runs, 32 were city runs, 9 city no transport, 10 county transport, 5 county no transport. For June, we had a total of 41 runs. The city, there were 24 transports. City no transports were 6, county were 9 transports, and county no transports were 2. For the our air ambulance transports interfacility from Big Bend Regional Medical Center to the Alpine Municipal Airport, for April we had 31. For May we had 33. For June we had 26 for a total of 90 of those runs. And just looking ahead for the part of the third quarter, for the first couple of months, it all looks pretty much, everything's running about the same what's coming up. Any questions on that?
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, we're gonna move over to the action items to be accompanied by a brief statement of facts, including for funds. What's that? What? Did I miss one?
17.
I'm sorry, city manager. Don't look at me like that. She gave me that look.
That's what I
Saturday.
was like, yeah.
Yeah. She gave me that look Saturday when I was sweeping burgers.
Well, let's see if Mick is still on.
Hello, Nick.
Mick? Which one is it? Yeah, so he had sent me, kind of a message that he was gonna have to, skip out about 6:30 to take care of something else.
6:30.
So I don't know if you wanna go on and we'll just go back to that.
So we can do that.
So when he's on.
I don't care. It's just, I think it's really, do we need one?
Not until the people. Right.
Well, I guess in reference to this one, reviewing the procedure for ordinance approval, I know that a lot of what is driving, the public hearings and the number of times that ordinances are read is on the advice of Nick. Mr. Stevens pointed out that there's some issues. Well, you know, our charter doesn't say this, but again, depending on what it is, if our charter says we follow the statute, then it's what the statute says, regardless of what our ordinance procedure is. So I know Mick had kind of been in some of that conversation, so we can come back to it if you want, or we can do another item. We could do another item on next agenda. It's totally up to you.
Council, what's your pleasure?
Table it.
Come back to it.
Okay, go ahead.
I move we table.
There a second. Okay, any discussion? None?
It's a discussion.
Okay, so we're gonna table it, correct, for next meeting? Then I was right when I said action items.
Oh, cool. That's that good.
Yeah. Action items to be accompanied by a brief statement of facts, including where funds are coming from, and applicable. Action items limited up to 10 per meeting. Citizens are allowed to comment, limited to 3 minutes after being called upon by the mayor. Citizens are required to state their name and the ward in which they reside. Priority will be given to citizens of Alpine and those who own business or property in the city. Individuals who do not live in or own business or property in the city limits of Alpine will be allowed to speak if there's time available. Councilman Stevens.
Yes, sir. So following up from our last meeting where we set a holiday schedule for the city, there were 13 pages in there that provided a draft perspective on when we would need to be able to have our meetings. So I thought it worked out, particularly since we have a couple of holiday months coming up, so we can all plan and be worthwhile to set what I would call the city calendar, or city council calendar for the next fiscal year. So that's the background behind it. So in order to get the ball rolling, what I'd like to do is propose the following resolution. That city council continues to meet twice a month on the first and third Tuesday of each month for this next fiscal year, with the exception that we only have one meeting in November, and that being November 6th. That's what you're making. So that we have one meeting in November, November 6th. Then we have one meeting in December on December 4th. And that our meetings in January would be on January 8th and January 15th to be able to accommodate coming back from the Christmas break. And then our meetings in September will be on September 4th and September 17th. September 4th is a Wednesday after Labor Day. So that's the motion.
Okay. Motion's been made, second.
Yeah. Good. Now we can have discussion. So, that's consistent with the calendar that you see in your book, 13 pages. All I did was walk through and said, look and said, hey, November, December, 21 meeting each, and then trying to make sure we're lined up around the holiday schedule. You'll recognize that in January, the 8th and the 15th are 2 consecutive Tuesdays. But that allows city staff to get back from the Christmas break and not have to scurry like that to get an agenda put together in that first week of January. So that's why I propose the 8th and the 15th, and then the 4th of September, so we can scurry and flurry during that. So that was the rationale behind it.
Any more discussion?
Has anybody ever thought about maybe making these meetings a little bit bigger? I mean, most everybody that comes to these meetings are retired. Yeah, you're not. Get up half an hour earlier, twice a month, can't you? And you're not on working production on Fort Worth.
Okay.
Probably would, yeah. No, just, like the county commissioners meet in the morning. I'm not saying we should meet in the morning, but maybe like instead of 5:30, maybe 4:30, something like that, sure. Does anybody have any thoughts on that?
I like 5:30, that's when I'm like meetings are.
Okay, I'm just trying to throw that out for discussion, see if anybody was interested. I can let my own 5:30. Never mind. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, any more discussion?
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
Lieutenant Farrow had asked if we would consider on October 2nd having our meeting a little earlier because that is the national night out. And council is always in session and we never attend their festivities at Coconut Park.
So you look at the amend the motion.
Well, she's just pointing that out. It's up to you all to amend the
Yes.
motion.
That
We
we
can-
can amend the motion. That Councilman Stevens just made.
So, is there a particular time? I don't know what the agenda looks like. And we all know I'm not gonna be here anyway. So.
The national night out starts at 6.
At 6. Goes to that.
So 4:30 work?
We'd have to make 4:30, right?
This is when?
October
October
2nd.
2nd.
Which is coming up here.
It's coming up. It's the next meeting.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. That also gives us an opportunity to see that affects the videos. Since the middle.
So 4:30.
4:30.
So if you're okay, then I would like to amend the motion to add that the October 2nd meeting would start at 4:30.
Second. Motion's been made to amend the original motion.
That's correct.
That's correct. It's been second.
That's correct.
Is there any discussion on this? Okay. So let's vote on the main motion that you made, right? The amendment first, on the amendment to the main motion. Okay. We're gonna vote on the amendment to the main motion right now. There's no discussion. All those in favor of amending it to move the meeting to 4:30, raise your right hand. All those opposed, like sign. Okay, motion carries. Now, to vote on the main amendment. It's been discussed already in the second.
The main motion.
The main motion. Yeah, the main motion. Yeah, okay, all those in favor. Raise your right hand, opposed, like sign. Right, okay, so we're amending it to 4:30 on the second.
Only on the second and then the other days.
And then they just stay the same. Okay, next. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, the next item is one we talked about before. This is the second reading of the ordinance 2018-08-10. The abandonment of the property, which is 5/100ths of an acre of property at the intersection of Northward and the Annenberg portion platted, but not improved section of happened on the last track one of the next document. We sit up on record line 143, page 402 of Brewster County Tax Record, Brewster County Texas, to Brick Colors, 801 North Birch Street, Alpine, and I move that we approve that second.
Okay, motion's been made and second. Is there any discussion? No. You're out of order, sir. This is the discussion with the council. Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, like sign. Thank you, motion carries. Councilman Stevens.
Yes, sir. So the second part of this is I move that we approve the second reading of ordinance 2018-08-11, the sale of that same property at the intersection of Northward, the improved portion of platted but not improved section of Brown Avenue, identified document which remains like in the city of Alpine, recorded by number 3, page 142, Brewster County Tax Record, Brewster County,
to Brick Falls for the appraised value of $2,600.
I'll second. Okay, motion's been made and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand.
These are action.
They're action items.
Yeah, so you can allow public comment.
Okay.
Moving pretty quick. Carl Fleming, Ward 5. I went up and took a look at this track, and I have not seen maps or things, and I'm obviously at math and 0.05 tenths of an acre. I have nobody's square feet. I suspect, because I haven't seen maps and everything of this, that part of the old road is being, and it's not big enough for use by anybody except this particular individual. But when you drive up and look at that graded lot, man, that's a $75,000 lot.
That's not even a lot.
Well, but I mean, the whole thing is, I would like to see more transparency in some of these things that come up, so that the people are well aware exactly of what is being done. And because when I saw this, I thought, and then when I drove up and saw that, I said, how much of this is what we're deciding on tonight? Because I don't know.
But for a like comment, we have the full plat in 4 city council meetings on the agenda showing up the minutes. So I appreciate, and I'm happy to walk you through it because it's in Ward 5, but it literally is a sliver.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. I thought it was just a little road, but I just like to see more transparency and when they come up, because when you go and look at that lot, it's a fantastic view. But that's not everything that's involved.
That lot is privately owned.
But part of it now will be part of the lot, the sliver.
It's actually the next door at 801. That's why the address is in here, 801 North Burke.
Okay.
Yes,
But see, I have a hard time understanding it because of this.
Any more discussion? Yes, sir.
Oscar Cobos, Ward 5, and I too am seeking clarification on this because I never saw it posted in the Avalanche up for bid for auction. The reason I'm looking at this closely is now that we're having appraisals done on several assets, city-owned property, now that we're making real estate decisions or fixing to, and now that we might go into annexation, I'd like to look at this closely for the record. I too looked at that property because I live close by there, and I will go back and look at the plats and look at everything closely because I know that 0.5 is 2,178 square feet, and you cannot build there, for the record. And let me just say that if it's at the end of Brown, what you mentioned here, and Bird, I hope it's not that big piece of property there. Thank you, Council.
Thanks.
I'll just comment that big piece of property is owned by a private party. It has nothing to do with the city. So I'm happy to walk anyone up there and go take a look at it. And the property owner, Brick Halls, owns the property at 801 on Bird and that big piece of property next door. And the good news out of this is the city's going to get tax revenue, which today is getting no tax revenue out of that property at all. So that's, and happy to walk through the tax revenues.
Okay, any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand, opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, city manager.
Mayor, this item is discuss, consider, and take action on the bid submitted by Johnny and Judy Vick for the purchase of R12482, being lots 4, 5, and 6, block 13, shipment edition. Alpine Brewster County bid amount is $12,500, and I'm actually going to turn this over to Lori, who is with Purdue and Brandon and Texas Communities. Texas, is it called?
Yes, Texas Communities Group. Okay, so this is a sealed bid. Texas Community Group has is helping the city in getting some of these properties sold that are in trust. So this was 3 lots. This was the only thing we had in the city of Alpine. The procedure is It was advertised in the newspaper. It was, it did have a sign on it, a for sale sign. We did also give out catalogs throughout the city, and it was on our website. So after the first bid is placed, it starts a countdown, and bidding closes after 25 days. Whoever is the highest bidder is the winner. We go further and do some research on the bidder to make sure that they don't owe taxes on any other pieces of property, as well as we check with the city to make sure that they don't owe on utilities, municipal tickets, or have any code enforcement issues. Once we see that that is clear, then we have the bidder send us the money, and we prepare the deed and email it to all the taxing entities for consideration. And if all approved, then we have the deed recorded and mailed to the bidder. For this certain property, we had 13 bids submitted. They ranged in the amount of $50 to $12,500, which was our highest bidder.
So this is owned by the Alpine Independent School District.
Along with the other entities, yes, because it was lost to
So, okay, so you have to go through all 4 entities.
correct.
Because,
All the entities have to approve or deny.
because they're on back taxes for all 4.
Correct. You're welcome. Any other questions?
So I get the other question. Where are the other 3 entities in this process? Have they already approved it?
No, not that I'm aware of. I think they're all having meetings around this time.
In talking to Becky this morning, this is on their next school district board meeting. Yes.
Yeah.
Lloyd, what's the, do you have the breakdown of the taxes that are owed and how much this 12,500 will reimburse back to the entities?
I don't have that information with me, but there is a procedure for, how much each entity gets, correct.
How many other properties within the city limits are out there? Do you have any idea?
This was it for now. Right now, we are working on a list of senior properties that we have 19 on that list.
Okay.
So once that is completed, then we will do a tax sale.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so that will be in the near future.
Excellent.
So just for the sake of council, I do have that list actually on my desk, and I can email it to you so you can take a look at it. But the taxes that are owed on their on that list, is that the total taxes owed, or is that the taxes owed to the city of Alpine?
That is all entities, or at least city and school, because that's who we represent, because we don't have the county, correct?
So the taxes
but we
that
do
are
collect
owed,
for all.
yes, the taxes that are owed on that range anywhere from like $1,000, and one of them is almost $40,000
Right.
taxes that are owed.
Right.
So it can add up to a good amount of extra revenue and back property taxes that have been paid to the city.
So this money from the sale will go to the entities to cover back taxes, and then you start collecting taxes going forward.
Correct. Then we start, then they're back on the tax list.
And this sale value, will you send that over to the BCAT so they've got that as the basis for starting the appraisal process?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the bid submitted by Johnny and Judy Vick for the purchase of R12482, being lots 4, 5, and 6, lot 13, Shipment Edition, Alpine Brewster County, in the bid amount of $12,500.
Okay, motion made second. Any discussion? Yes, sir.
But Carlton in Ward 5, they got a good deal, because normally a block over in the Shipment Edition will go for 50 grand. And so they got half a lot for the bid.
Any more discussion? See none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Okay, item 12.
There, this is the fun one. Discuss, consider and adopting the 2018-2019 tax year proposed property tax rate
for the city of Alpine, Texas by ordinance 2018-09-06. The tax rate of 0.534970 per $100 valuation has been recommended for fiscal year 2018-19 budget. Maintenance and operation is 0.494278, and INS, or interest in sinking, is 0.040692. A is discuss and consider ordinance 2018-09-06, an ordinance of the city of Alpine, Texas, setting the ad valorem tax rate at 0.534970 cents per $100 valuation of property for the 2018-2019 fiscal year, setting the tax rate for the maintenance and operations of the municipal government portion of the ad valorem tax rate, and providing when taxes shall become due and when same shall become delinquent if not paid. B is discuss and consider ordinance 2018-09-06, an ordinance of the city of Alpine, Texas, setting the tax rate for the debt service portion of the ad valorem tax rate for the 2018-2019 fiscal year, and providing when taxes shall become due and when same shall become delinquent if not paid.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the property tax rate be set at a total tax rate of 0.534970, which is effectively a 3.7% increase over the effective tax rate, by the adoption of ordinance 2018-09-06 for fiscal year 2018-2019, which includes as part of the total tax rate of 0.494278 for maintenance and operations, and 0.040692 for the interest and sinking fund. The overall tax rate is not increasing over last year.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
So we have to do a roll call.
Yeah, we have to do a roll call.
We'll start on my left side.
I move we approve the motion as read.
Councilman Squirrel. Councilman Fitzgerald.
I move that we accept the motion as read.
So we approve the motion as read.
I approve it. Okay. So motion's been made, seconded, and it's approved by all. Okay. Item 13, City Council member comments. Let's see, let's start at last. Yeah, go. Yeah, sure.
We had some good discussions and good presentations. Thank you.
Thank everybody for being here. Again, thank you especially the 3 participants. Thank you for coming.
I wanted to thank the Chamber of Commerce. I think they're doing a really good job. And of course, the Joseph Center. We had a really good report. And thanks to everybody for coming.
Yeah, I would thank everyone for coming as well. I think the engagement was terrific and the comments are good. And I'm glad someone pointed out that we didn't have the public hearings out on the agenda because we're sitting up here kind of going through it thinking, yeah, we got it covered. So it's good someone speaking up so we can get those worked and we'll make sure we get those covered because the public comments, mind you, are always critical to those decisions. So thanks for what you do in the market activity. Most people don't appreciate all what you do, but what you do works so nice.
Thank you all for coming. Some great reports, quarterly reports. Robert, again, great job that you're doing out there. I want to thank everybody, and y'all have a good evening. Again,
So, Mr. Mayor, pursuant to Texas Government Code 55.1.071, consultation with attorney, 55.1.074, personal matters, I move that we move into the executive session to talk about municipal purchasing.
Okay, motion's been made, second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.